It's like a tornado. Oh my gosh. Oh shit!
Look at this. A catastrophic and incredibly powerful storm system moved with relentless force through Mineral Wells, Texas, on the evening of Tuesday, April 28, 2026. Leaving a sprawling trail of widespread destruction and completely altering the landscape of the local community. The sheer magnitude of this weather event caught many by surprise as the skies darkened rapidly over the metroplex from the northwest, signaling the arrival of a devastating atmospheric disturbance.
We're here in Mineral Wells, Texas, where the National Weather Service says a powerful EF3 tornado slammed into homes and businesses here. Much of the destruction looking just like the one you see behind me here. Homeowners and businesses completely leveled. We spent time with Christopher Hester and Rebecca Scott, who were inside of their home when this twister hit. They described the harrowing moments as their roof ripped from their home.
Severe storms had been threatening the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area throughout the afternoon, but the heaviest and most violent impacts localized directly over Mineral Wells early in the evening. Residents reported that the atmosphere grew incredibly heavy and still right before the chaos descended, a classic and terrifying hallmark of an approaching tornadic system. What began as heavy rainfall and reports of hail quickly escalated into a nightmare scenario for the residents and business owners situated in the storm's direct path. Don't forget to subscribe because I will give you the information about the natural disaster around the world every day. The National Weather Service, operating out of Fort Worth, meticulously monitored the radar data as the severe supercell began to show intense rotation. Following the catastrophic event, authorities officially confirmed that a tornado had indeed touched down in the city. The precise timing of the strike was recorded at approximately 5:10 p.m., a time when many residents were just beginning their evening routines or commuting home from work. The tornado carved a destructive path along Highway 180, specifically targeting the areas approximately 3 miles east of Mineral Wells.
And all of a sudden, we watched the front door bust open and saw our ceiling just go fly up with the tornado. And I quickly grabbed her and her dog and took shelter in the hallway and just, kept low to the ground the best we could.
They saw the walls begin to peel and water just began to fall on them as they waited to see what would happen next. Today, they went back into their home to pick up whatever valuables were left behind. They were able to find one of their pets. They're still looking for two tonight.
The confirmation from the National Weather Service was a sobering validation of what the residents had already experienced firsthand, a violent, churning vortex of wind that showed absolutely no mercy to anything in its trajectory. Radar data and subsequent damage reports painted a grim picture of the tornado's intensity, highlighting a wide swath of total devastation that would take the city months, if not years, to fully recover from. As the tornado tore along the Highway 180 corridor, it unleashed its fury upon the local industrial sector, resulting in major, catastrophic damage to critical infrastructure. The Parker manufacturing plant, a significant fixture east of the city, took a direct hit from the swirling vortex. The facility was heavily damaged, with large sections of its structure completely compromised by the extreme wind speeds. The sheer force of the tornado ripped through the plant, turning the building itself into deadly projectiles. Massive quantities of debris, including twisted sheet metal, heavy wooden beams, and thick layers of industrial insulation, were violently scattered across the surrounding area.
That's everything, man. But we were still able to salvage some things, and we're alive. That's the most important thing.
They are alive, but devastated by the loss, like so many others that were impacted by this storm. What were you thinking now that you've seen the aftermath?
Praise the Lord that we were alive. Thank you, Jesus. Because we should not be alive right now.
Officials here saying it is amazing, nothing short of a miracle, that nobody lost their lives, considering the sheer strength of this storm. The cleanup here is going to be extensive. And to that end, officials are asking people to avoid this area despite their efforts to want to help. They want to make sure that some of the work crews and linemen here have all the time they need to begin the cleanup here. Already there has been such a large outpouring of support from within this community and even externally for people that want to help people during.
The parking lot of the facility was rendered unrecognizable, buried under a mountain of shattered glass and mangled steel. This hazardous debris field extended far beyond the property lines, spilling out and entirely blocking the adjacent roadways, creating a massive logistical nightmare for the immediate emergency response efforts. The devastation was not limited to just a few isolated structures. City officials reported extensive structural damage across a wide area, with several buildings being completely and totally destroyed. The power of the storm was so immense that it leveled structures that had stood for decades, reducing them to mere piles of rubble in a matter of seconds. The raw kinetic energy of the tornado simply overwhelmed the architectural integrity of these buildings. The visual impact of this destruction was staggering, with entire blocks looking as though they had been subjected to a massive explosion rather than a natural weather event. The loss of these buildings represents a massive blow to the local economy and the daily lives of the citizens who relied on these businesses and facilities. Emergency management teams were immediately overwhelmed by the sheer volume of structural collapses they had to assess and secure.
This terrible tragedy. We're here.
Devastating scene.
My brother had to dig my parents out of the debris.
You can truly understand why. This is what they're dealing with. Homes ripped to shreds, RVs overturned, trees snapped, power lines down, and debris scattered across streets and yards. That is what crews are still working around this morning. The EF2 tornado hit late Saturday night with winds up to 135 miles per hour.
My brother had to dig my parents out of the debris. It was terrible. So,
are they okay?
My dad has a fracture in his neck. My mom had a broken back, and my brother, he's doing fine right now. My brother had to dig my parents out of.
Beyond the industrial zones, the tornado cut a ruthless path directly through vulnerable residential areas, impacting countless families and destroying homes. Neighborhoods situated along Van Story Road and Country Club Parkway sustained incredibly heavy damage. Homes that were sanctuaries just moments prior had their roofs violently torn off, windows blown out by the immense pressure drops, and exterior walls completely caved in. The frightening power of the storm was further evidenced by the way it manipulated heavy materials. Massive sheets of metal from nearby commercial structures were found tightly wrapped around the trunks of large, ancient trees in these residential neighborhoods. This phenomenon speaks to the terrifying wind speeds that were present at ground level. Families were left to sift through the soaked, ruined remains of their personal belongings, looking at the sky through spaces where their ceilings used to be. Amidst the catastrophic structural damage, the human toll of the tornado became a primary concern for all first responders on the scene. Amid the chaos, officials confirmed that at least 2 people sustained severe enough injuries to require immediate evacuation from the disaster zone. These individuals were quickly transported to nearby hospitals for urgent medical treatment. In addition to these more serious casualties, several other individuals suffered minor injuries, ranging from lacerations caused by flying glass to blunt force trauma from falling debris. These individuals were triaged and treated on-site by paramedics and emergency medical technicians who had rushed to the impact zones. The fact that the casualty count was not significantly higher is a testament to the effectiveness of the early warning systems and the rapid actions taken by residents to seek adequate shelter before the tornado fully descended upon them. Complicating the search, rescue, and recovery efforts was a massive disruption to the city's essential utility services. In the immediate aftermath of the tornado's strike, it was reported that approximately 2,000 customers experienced complete gas outages. Fire Chief Ryan Dunn highlighted this utility failure as a critical emergency situation in its own right. The severing of gas lines poses an incredible risk of secondary disasters, including massive explosions and uncontrollable fires, especially in areas where debris is piled high and electrical lines might still be live or sparking. Emergency crews had to work meticulously and cautiously to secure these ruptured lines, shutting off main valves and monitoring the air for dangerous concentrations of combustible gases. This utility crisis left thousands of residents without a primary means of cooking or heating, adding an additional layer of hardship to an already traumatic and chaotic evening. In response to the overwhelming scale of the disaster, a massive emergency response was immediately activated across Mineral Wells. Local police, fire departments, and emergency medical services descended upon the hardest-hit areas, their sirens piercing the heavy, post-storm air. City officials quickly recognized the immense danger posed by the blocked roadways and the unstable, damaged structures. Through social media and emergency broadcast channels, they issued urgent pleas to all residents to stay home and completely avoid traveling into the northeast area of the city. Keeping the roads absolutely clear was deemed crucial so that heavy machinery, ambulances, and emergency personnel could navigate the debris-choked streets to do their jobs quickly and safely. The coordination of this response required immense logistical planning, as dispatchers routed crews around impassable streets and into the neighborhoods where people were calling for immediate help. Recognizing that many families had lost their homes and had absolutely nowhere to go as night fell, the city swiftly organized shelter and relief efforts. The Mineral Wells High School cafeteria was officially opened to serve as a temporary safe haven for anyone displaced by the horrific storm. The large space was quickly transformed into a triage center and sleeping quarters. The American Red Cross arrived promptly at the school to offer vital assistance, providing cots, warm blankets, clean water, and hot meals to the shell-shocked residents who poured through the doors. For many, this shelter was the first place they could stop and truly process the magnitude of what they had just survived. The presence of relief workers provided a small sense of stability and comfort to those who had seen their entire lives upended in a matter of terrifying minutes. As the sun set on Tuesday evening, officials acknowledged that they were still in the very early stages of evaluating the full and exact extent of the damage. The path of destruction was massive, stretching across key parts of the city, beginning on the northeast side of the Country Club Estates community and moving relentlessly southeast toward the National Vietnam War Museum, a distance spanning several miles of continuous devastation. Emergency responders and city planners knew that a comprehensive damage survey would need to be conducted at first light on Wednesday morning to truly understand the billions of dollars in losses and the massive rebuilding effort that lay ahead. The community of Mineral Wells was left broken and battered, facing a long, arduous road to recovery after one of the most violent weather events in its recent history. Y'all pray for everybody in Mineral Wells, Texas, guys. It's crazy out here right now. Okay, thank you for watching to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe because I will give you the information about the natural disaster around the world every day. There are many natural disasters around the world. Storms, flooding, earthquakes, tornadoes, hurricane, cyclone, typhoon, winter storms, snowstorms, landslides, and others. And I will give you the information about that every day. So, stay with my YouTube channel. Okay, once again, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.